Hello, I'm Mark. Welcome to this Microsoft 365 and Teams weekly update for the 20th to the 27th of February. We are going to be having a look at some revised timelines. I've stopped calling them delays. Then something in Forms, OneDrive, Planner, and then something in Teams. Now, there's not a lot this week. Now, I think that's because of Ignite, which is coming in a few days. So that gives us a little bit of time. So we're going to have a look at something a bit different. I'm going to have a look at somebody else's blog to see what they do. So I'll explain later why I'm doing that. So first up, let's have a look at these delays. So we have got, revised timelines. So the block download permissions for Teams meeting recordings on OneDrive. So what it's doing is just changing the permissions of the people who have attended meetings. Look at a previous blog for that if you want the details, but that is starting to roll out early April, and it's going to take up until June, so quite a long tail on that one. This enhanced Teams calling experience, well, I've been talking about this one forever, and it looks like we're going to get it mid-March to the end of April. Those of you who've been using Teams for 3 and a bit years, you'll know that the old screen's been around for a long time, and this feels really overdue. But you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Using iPad to present at a live event, that's been put off until early February and it should be complete early March. This one here, the designer in Word, that's coming at some point in February and should be complete early May. That's a massive tail, isn't it? That's a great big long stretch between the start and the finish. Like I say, if you're interested in any of these, I've covered them on previous videos and previous blogs. Go back and have a look. Text predictions for iOS, so that's late, but that's US and Canada only anyway. Adding Microsoft Teams to your SharePoint site, this nice easy button, just look at this here. Nice and easy way of adding Teams to your SharePoint site. If you're looking to do this, it might be worth making sure your users know what happens if they then decide to delete that team that they've created that goes with it. Make sure they understand what happens if they change their mind, go and delete the team, what's going to happen. And this is something to look forward to. I've covered this before, but I'll mention it super quickly. This is a nice recap of everything that happened in the meeting. That's going to be shown in the chat. This is coming out early March now, so you can see it's been delayed a little bit, right? I wonder whether they've been saving up a few of these features which are meant to drop, and they're going to release them at the conference Ignite next week. I bet that's what happens. I bet a few of these things which are due early March will appear during the conference. It just adds a little bit of storytelling for people to comment on those features and kind of build up the conference, doesn't it? Should be complete by early April. This large together mode, you might be used to this if you're using the full fat version of Teams, but some organizations are still using it in the browser for whatever reason. I certainly know one organization that is, but in the browser you're going to get that video view. I'm not sure what happened to the graphic for this one, but this is the new updates for adding web parts to SharePoint sites. It's going to show you your favorites and then group them together, have the descriptions. So look out for that. That is a little bit late as well. That's early March. A bit of a pattern here, and there's a lot of early March going on. SharePoint page or authoring experience. So this is when you have a new author, and when they edit a page for the first time, they're going to get walked through some basics. This is rolling out early January and ending. So it's the end date that's been. So this is the rollout's been dragged out rather than put back. Intelligent file recommendations for Planner. This looks great. Looking forward to seeing how this works. I use Planner on a daily basis. This has been rolled back a little bit, so mid-March to the end of April. Now, let's get into some new changes. So, current limit on Microsoft Forms and quizzes is 200 per user or Office 365 group, and there's that. I'm not sure if it's temporary or it's permanent, but that's that bonus 200 that you get at the moment as well. That new limit is going to be 400 and the bonus will be 400 as well. Availability for that is rolling out mid to late March. So I tweeted about that a couple of days ago and that actually had a bit of a response. It looks like that's going to be quite useful to people. Someone made some grumpy comments about forms, but generally speaking, it looks like that's pretty welcome. Now, when users first delete something from OneDrive, they're going to get a warning, and they're going to just get a little bit of education coming their way. And they're going to see this until they untick or uncheck don't show this reminder again. It's also just going to give them a little bit of information about how they can restore those documents. You can see the Learn More button on there, how they can restore those documents if they want to, if they've made a mistake. So, coming early to late March, another one that's coming out early March. That pattern continues. Now, really like this. So, we have Planner and tasks. We have the regular Planner app, and you've got tasks inside Teams. Well, it's limited to 5. I'm sure it's 5. You know what? I went back to double check. You date yourself. I'm sure it was 5 labels we had before. And you're going to have up to 25 now. This got a response on Twitter as well. People like this. People who I work with like it as well. And it just gives you so much more flexibility. So you can have 25 of these labels now. So it just means that if you've got different themes like delays or prioritizations or accountabilities that stretch across different buckets, it means you can use that. I think it's been wanted for quite a long time, and I think it's going to be super useful for the end users. Rolling out anytime now to the end of March. Now I already have this. I noticed it a few days ago. So go and have a look, see whether you've got it. Now, this is already out, but Microsoft didn't really say much about it. So previously, when you're on a meeting and you're looking at this view, then you would have a mix of people on video and then people who weren't on video, and you would just see either their initials or just their picture. Now they're changing it to show in the main area only people with a video feed. Okay, so it just means that it's just a little bit more useful, even if they're not the main focus of they're not the main speakers. You're going to see their video feeds up there. So it's already rolled out, but they've just commented on it just to remind you that they've made that change. They're normally really good at letting you know what's coming, and they did a follow up with a bit of an apology. So it's just nice to see that they're just kind of mopping up as they go along as well. If you're not seeing that, you might just need to restart your Teams. Some bite-sized stuff. Now this is another one that comes up. You hear me. I seem to comment on the Windows Weekly podcast every week at the moment. It's part of my staple listening. It comes out towards the end of the week for me on my podcast, and I find it just entertaining, and it just broadens my horizons a little bit. And this is so I don't know. It's funny how you work with your computer all the time and you don't notice stuff, but this 3D objects folder is going. So Microsoft made a big thing a while ago, or some time ago, about 3D, and I thought it was going to be this massive thing. Anyway, they've been slowly dialing that back, and anytime now goes the folder as well. And it's interesting. If you do a quick Google search, you'll see a few sites making commenting on that. I can't be honest. I don't exactly know what the big deal is. It's just interesting to see that they're taking some things away. Next up, we've got Microsoft's big conference, Ignite, which is in a few days, assuming you're watching this on the day I've released the video, of course. So March 2nd to the 4th, it's free, and you can just watch it from your computer. Now, you can see on the screen there that it's their developer and IT professional event. Now, if you are one of those people, you probably know about this already, but if you're an end user, just like a regular, you go to work, you're an engaged user, you use Microsoft 365, this is still worth you having a look. So get yourself signed up, it's free, have a look at what's going on, some really interesting sessions. Some of them are really high level, and you don't need to be super duper technical to get something out of them. My big tip though, is that if you find a session that you like, put it into your work diary so that nothing can get in the way. You know what it's like, we're super busy, and a lot of people have found that getting to these sessions when they're remote, because you haven't booked a day off work and you're not there, it's very easy to skip them and not do them. So go to their website, look in the notes, click on there, get signed up, and put the session into your diary so that that time is reserved. When you can relax, get a cup of coffee, maybe have your lunch or your snack or whatever at that time, but make sure you focus on it, but definitely get it in your diary. Now, something a bit different. Now, this guy, Tom Morgan, I've been listening to his podcast for ages. Now, I'm not a developer, and it's not necessarily the field that I'm in. I'm all about the end user, about communities, about exploiting Microsoft Teams and how you exploit the product rather than the development side of it. However, the stuff that he covers is of interest. Let's go over to his blog and have a look, and you'll see what I mean. It'll make a bit more sense if I show you. Okay, so you can see his blog on the screen now. Now you can see here that he is a Teams platform developer and a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional. Now if I just zoom in on this, you can see that some of what he does is, well, it's witchcraft, I think, which is well beyond what I would look at. But let's just move on a little bit. So if you're an engaged Teams user, you can see here that there's some Teams Basic, and there's stuff here for you. On his channel, you've got his weekly update. Now these are pretty short. You know, these are maybe 10 minutes or so. They're very snackable. I personally listen using podcast instead, although he does show some stuff. I personally like the podcast. Now, if you look on here as well, he's got his blog. It's got weekly updates. Now, you might not be a developer. It might not be your thing, but listen. In your organisation, is there more that can be done with Teams? Can you bring more processes into there? Can you help your organisation, or can you help your team? Now, if you don't know what's possible, then you can't ask for it, can you? Blogs like this and podcasts like this just keep you up to date with what is possible, and 100% worth you having a look. I'll put some links into the notes. But get over there, have a look, check out his YouTube channel. He doesn't actually know that I'm doing this, so if this video suddenly changes and this bit's cut out, it's because he's objected to it. I can't imagine he would, but yeah, for as long as he doesn't object, I'll probably just drop him a note to say that I've been talking about him behind his back. But yeah, definitely check it out. Have a listen. What's the worst that can happen? Maybe you just unsubscribe if it's not for you, but I think you'll like it. So now let us get back over to here and get ourselves wrapped up. So this brings us pretty much to the end. Now, these updates come out every week, and with Ignite next week there'll be some more as well. But however you keep yourself up to date, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, podcasts or websites, you'll find me at SuperSimple365. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like whatever it is I've done, and then make sure that you're getting those notifications. Folks, we're done. Nice and quick this week. I'll see you next week.